Alex Riker wiped the grease from his hands and glanced at the clock on the wall of the drone repair bay. The numbers glowed 02, 47 inches neon blue, casting a pale light over the quiet room. Most of the colony was asleep by this hour, but not Alex. He didn't have the luxury of sleeping through the night. Being a single dad on New Elysium, one of humanity's newest colonies orbiting the gas giant Astra 9, meant long hours, hard work, and constant vigilance. Tonight, the repair bay was unusually quiet. Only the hum of the drone's diagnostic engines filled the room. Alex liked the quiet. It gave him a moment to think, to plan, to breathe. His daughter, Mia, was asleep in their small quarters, dreaming peacefully, no doubt unaware of the world orbiting a distant gas giant. Alex wished he could be there with her, tucking her in or reading her one of the stories she loved, but the colony needed him now. He glanced at the display screen showing the status of the drones. Most were functional, but a few had minor damage from today's meteor debris sweep. Alex sighed and grabbed his toolkit. He enjoyed this work, yes, but the solitude could sometimes be heavy. The quiet was broken by a sudden whoosh from the observation deck above. Alex froze, instinctively reaching for the comm system. "Hello?" he called. The hum of the drones continued, but no answer came. A few moments later, a loud clatter echoed from above, followed by a startled cry. Alex's heart jumped. The observation deck wasn't usually busy at this hour. He rushed toward the elevator and hit the call button. The lift hummed and descended slowly, each second feeling longer than the last. When the doors opened, Alex froze. There, near the edge of the observation deck, was Commander Lyra Voss, his boss. Her posture wavered, and her eyes were slightly glazed. She was laughing at something invisible, tipping dangerously close to the railing. "Commander Voss," Alex shouted, his voice sharp with alarm. "Step back from the edge." Lyra turned, startled, and tried to regain her balance. But it was too late. A piece of loose paneling gave way under her foot, and she stumbled toward the edge. Alex reacted instinctively, lunging forward. His hands grabbed her arm just in time, yanking her back to safety. "Alex, oh, I'm sorry," she slurred, trying to steady herself. "I didn't see. You almost fell." Alex interrupted, gripping her shoulders firmly. His mind was racing, checking the edge of the deck, the meteor sensors, the security protocols. "You could have died, Lyra. Do you realize how dangerous this is right now?" Lyra blinked, confused. I didn't. I wasn't thinking." "The drinks," Alex groaned inwardly. She was tipsy, probably celebrating some diplomatic success earlier. And now, on top of everything, there was a meteor storm approaching. The colony's shields could handle minor debris, but no human was supposed to be outside, let alone near the edge. "Come on," Alex said firmly. "We need to get you somewhere safe." He guided her toward the elevator, supporting her as she wobbled. Her usual authoritative demeanor was gone, replaced by something almost fragile. Human. Alex was surprised to feel a pang of concern that went beyond professional responsibility, but there was no time for reflection. Safety came first. Once inside the elevator, Lyra leaned against the wall, swaying slightly. "Thank you, Alex," she murmured. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize? You almost fell out into space," Alex said, his voice a mix of irritation and relief. "Do you even understand how close that was?" Lyra looked down, embarrassed. I guess I got carried away." Alex shook his head, trying not to think about the what-ifs. They reached the medbay entrance, and he pressed the alert button. The automated system scanned her for injuries. A green light blinked, indicating no serious harm, but Alex wasn't satisfied. "You're lucky," he said. "You need to promise me no more wandering around alone. Especially not at night." Lyra nodded weakly. I promise. Really. Thank you, Alex. You saved me." Alex didn't respond. He simply made sure she was seated safely on the medbay bed, then stepped back to check the systems outside. The meteor storm had intensified. Sensors indicated small fragments were already nearing the colony's outer shields. Normally, the shields would handle them without trouble, but the system had been compromised slightly during today's maintenance. Alex's hands moved quickly over the control panel, rerouting power, reinforcing the shields, and recalculating trajectories. Even as he worked, his mind raced with worry for Lyra. He had saved her once tonight, but the storm was far from over. Alex. Lyra's voice pulled him from the data streams. She was watching him with wide eyes, clearly impressed despite her state. You really know what you're doing." Alex paused, meeting her gaze. "Someone has to. Otherwise, the colony doesn't survive. That's my job." Her eyes softened, though she tried to hide it. I see that now. You're incredible." He smiled faintly, though it didn't reach his eyes. "I'm just doing what I have to do. Everyone here is counting on each other." The rest of the night passed in tense silence. Alex monitored the storm, adjusted shields, and kept an eye on Lyra, who had finally settled into a cot after insisting she was fine. By the time the first light of New Elysium's twin suns began to filter through the observation deck windows, the storm had moved past the colony, leaving only minor damage to the outer hull. Alex leaned back in his chair, exhausted. He thought about Mia, wondering if she was awake yet. Probably not. He smiled at the thought of her small, bright face. He would see her soon. Lyra stirred, blinking against the soft morning light. "Alex," she murmured, her voice groggy. "Was it real? Last night?" Alex looked at her, a mix of tiredness and cautious hope in his eyes. "Yes. You were in danger. You nearly fell." Her eyes widened. I remember now. Everything. You saved me. Twice." Alex gave a small shrug, uncomfortable with praise. "It's my job to keep the colony safe. That includes you." For a moment, Lyra just looked at him, her expression softening. There was a new understanding there, something that went beyond professional duty. In that brief moment, Alex realized that she wasn't just his boss. She was someone who had come to see him as more than just the guy who fixed drones and reinforced shields. As the medbay doors slid open, Alex stepped out, already thinking about the day ahead. Repairs, maintenance, keeping the colony running, the usual grind. But he also knew something had changed. Lyra would remember tonight, and in some unspoken way, she would see him differently. Outside, the colony sparkled in the twin sunlight, the metal surfaces gleaming against the black backdrop of space. Alex took a deep breath, feeling a mix of pride, exhaustion, and a strange sense of anticipation. Humanity had reached the stars, faced dangers unimaginable back on Earth, and here he was, a single dad, a repairman, a hero in his own quiet way. For now, that was enough. The next morning, the colony of New Elysium hummed with its usual activity. Supply drones zipped between platforms, maintenance crews moved with precision, and the air was filled with the low murmur of human life orbiting Astra 9. For most people, it was just another day. But for Alex Riker, it was a morning that carried the weight of last night's events. He entered the drone repair bay, already planning the day's work. Several drones had minor damages from the meteor fragments, and the systems still needed careful checks. His hands moved quickly, almost automatically, as he worked, his mind only briefly drifting to Commander Lyra Voss. She was probably awake now, walking through the corridors with her usual confident stride. But Alex wasn't eager to face her. Last night had been intense. The memory of her near fall still made his stomach twist. Yet, as he patched circuits and recalibrated engines, he felt a presence behind him. Turning slightly, he caught sight of Lyra at the entrance of the bay. Her expression hesitant, almost uncharacteristically soft. She was dressed in the standard colony uniform, crisp and commanding, but her usual strictness seemed subdued. "Alex," she said quietly. He straightened. "Good morning, Commander. Did you sleep well?" Lyra paused, her gaze shifting to the half-repaired drones. I slept, but I keep thinking about last night. She walked closer, studying the workbench as if it were a puzzle. You saved me. I remember everything now. Alex shrugged, trying to seem casual. It's part of the job. Someone has to keep everyone safe. That includes you. Lyra's eyes softened, and for a brief moment, she seemed to drop her usual professional mask. You don't realize how impressive that is. Most people would panic. But you acted instantly. You didn't hesitate. Alex shook his head, a small smile tugging at the corner of his lips. I didn't have time to hesitate. It was either act or watch things go wrong. And I don't do well with watching things go wrong. Lyra studied him for a long moment. There was something in Alex that she couldn't quite define. It wasn't just competence or bravery. It was something quieter, something deeper, a sense of responsibility, a human instinct to protect. Not for recognition, but because it was right. Alex turned back to his work, adjusting a drone's sensors. I should finish these before the next delivery wave. They can't wait. Lyra nodded, though she lingered, observing. You balance everything so well. The colony, your job, your life here, and your daughter, I imagine. Alex's eyes flicked toward the small display showing Mia's schedule. She was asleep now, still in her quarters. Mia's my priority. Everything else comes after that. But the colony, it's not much different. People rely on each other. That's how we survive out here. Lyra's gaze softened further. She had always respected him as an employee, but now she was beginning to see him as someone exceptional. Someone truly heroic in quiet, ordinary ways. She realized that heroism didn't always roar. Sometimes, it worked quietly in the shadows, unnoticed until lives depended on it. Alex, she began, hesitating. I want you to know I appreciate you, not just for last night, but for everything you do. He looked up from the drone, surprised at the sincerity in her voice. Thanks. That means a lot. She smiled, faint but genuine. Don't let anyone ever tell you that humans aren't extraordinary. You prove it every day. Alex felt a warmth he hadn't experienced in a long time. Compliments were rare in the colony, especially from someone like Lyra, strong, commanding, focused on results. He returned to his work, but now, there was a small, unspoken connection between them, a recognition of each other's humanity. The peaceful moment didn't last long. The colony's alert system beeped sharply, signaling a minor meteor fragment approaching one of the outer platforms. Alex's hands moved instinctively over the controls, rerouting power to the shields and monitoring the fragment's trajectory. Lyra stepped closer, watching him work, her usual calm demeanor returning as she observed the problem at hand. You never stop, do you? She said, almost in awe. Alex didn't look up. We don't get the luxury of stopping out here. Every fragment counts. One mistake, and it's not just equipment that's at risk. It's lives. Lyra nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. For the first time, she truly saw the colony through Alex's eyes, a place where every action mattered, where courage and quick thinking could make the difference between safety and disaster. Once the fragment passed safely, Alex leaned back, breathing a little heavier than usual. It's always something, he muttered, half to himself. Lyra smiled, a little teasing now. And you handle it all so effortlessly. I don't know how you do it. Alex shook his head, smiling faintly. I don't know either. You just focus on what matters. Do what needs to be done, and hope it's enough. She laughed softly, the sound light and warm. I guess I'm lucky you were around last night. Otherwise, Alex's expression grew serious. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't forgive myself. There was a pause, filled with the unspoken understanding that had formed between them. They both knew that life in New Elysium was unpredictable, dangerous, and sometimes frightening. But they also knew that courage, skill, and humanity could make all the difference. Later that day, Alex returned to his quarters briefly to check on Mia. She was awake now, curled up with her favorite stuffed animal, a small robot named Tinker. She smiled when she saw him. "Daddy," she exclaimed, running into his arms. Alex hugged her tightly, lifting her slightly off the ground. "Hey, kiddo. Did you sleep well?" Mia nodded, her small face bright. "Yeah. Did you fix the drones?" "I did," Alex said, setting her down gently. "And I had to save a very important person last night." He winked, careful not to reveal too much. Mia's eyes widened. "You saved someone? Like a hero?" Alex chuckled softly. "Something like that. But the important thing is, you're safe. That's the real mission." Mia giggled, hugging him again. "You're the best, Daddy." He smiled, feeling a surge of pride. His life was hard, full of long nights and dangerous tasks. But moments like this made it all worth it. Protecting Mia, protecting the colony, that was what mattered most. Meanwhile, Lyra was busy in the command center, reviewing data from the previous night. She kept glancing at Alex's repair bay from the observation windows. She couldn't shake the memory of his calm determination, his quiet heroism, the way he had acted without hesitation. She realized something important. People like Alex were rare. Humans like him, brave, clever, and selfless, were the true strength of humanity, especially on the frontier of space. By mid-afternoon, the colony's routine had resumed. Supplies were being distributed, drones repaired, and communication relays checked. But Lyra found herself lingering near Alex's bay, watching him work. She felt a growing respect, mixed with curiosity, for this man who had risked everything without hesitation. Alex, oblivious to her silent observation, continued his tasks with practiced efficiency. Each repair, each adjustment, each calculation demonstrated not just skill, but a profound understanding of human resilience. He was the embodiment of what humanity had brought to the stars: courage, ingenuity, and care for others. As the sun-like stars of Astra 9 cast their twin light over the colony, Alex stepped back from his work, stretching his arms. He looked out over the platform, thinking about the long night behind him and the longer days ahead. Humanity's presence in space was still fragile, still new. But he knew one thing clearly. As long as humans like him and others worked together, New Elysium would thrive. And somewhere nearby, Lyra Voss continued to watch, remembering everything from the night before. She realized that sometimes, heroes didn't wear shining armor or carry weapons. Sometimes, they were people like Alex Riker, steady, brave, selfless, quietly making a difference in ways that mattered most. For Alex, the day continued as usual. For Lyra, the day marked the beginning of a new understanding, a new respect for the man who had saved her life, and reminded her that humanity's true strength lay not in machines or technology, but in courage, ingenuity, and heart. The day started quietly on New Elysium, but the calm did not last long. Sensors in the colony's command center began blinking red, a sound that always made Alex's stomach tighten. He had been repairing drones in the maintenance bay when the alarms went off. "Alex," called Commander Lyra Voss, her voice tense but controlled over the comm. "We have incoming debris. It's not just a few fragments this time. A rogue asteroid cluster is approaching on an unusual trajectory. It's bigger than we've seen in months." Alex's hands froze for a moment over the drone console. He had handled meteor showers before, but this was different. The display showed dozens of large fragments heading toward the colony's orbit. Shields alone might not be enough to protect the outer platforms. "I'm on it," Alex said, standing and grabbing his toolkit. "We'll need to reinforce the deflector arrays immediately. Some of the systems will require manual repairs outside the colony." Lyra's voice softened slightly, but the urgency remained. "I want you in charge of this mission, Alex. If anyone can handle it, it's you." Alex hesitated for a brief second, thinking of Mia. He hated leaving her alone, even for a short time. But the colony came first. "Understood." I'll make sure the arrays are reinforced. No mistakes. He moved quickly, coordinating with the repair teams, assigning drones to handle minor debris, and preparing his own tools for the manual repairs that would require him to step outside into the cold, black space surrounding the colony. Lyra arrived at the maintenance bay shortly after, observing Alex as he worked. She remembered last night, how he had saved her without a second thought. Now, watching him prepare for a mission that could be far more dangerous, she felt a mix of admiration and worry. "You're really going out there?" she asked, her tone a mix of command and concern. Alex nodded, strapping himself into the external repair harness. "Someone has to. The automated systems can't handle everything. If these arrays fail, parts of the colony could be destroyed." Lyra studied him closely. "You always seem so calm, even when everything is falling apart." Alex gave a small shrug. "It's not calm. It's focus. Panic won't help anyone. Doing what needs to be done will." She nodded, a sense of respect growing stronger in her chest. He was more than just competent. He was the kind of human who rose to challenges without hesitation, who put others before himself. The airlock doors opened with a hiss, and Alex floated into the darkness of space, tethered to the colony by strong cables. The first fragments of the rogue asteroid cluster glinted in the twin suns' light, streaking toward the colony with deadly precision. Alex's hands moved quickly, repairing damage to the deflector arrays, rerouting power through the emergency conduits, and manually adjusting the alignment of the shields. Every movement required precision. One mistake could be fatal. But Alex's training and experience guided him. He worked methodically, checking every panel, every line of code, every energy pulse. Meanwhile, Lyra monitored the mission from the command center, her eyes fixed on the displays showing Alex's position and the trajectory of the fragments. She could see the strain on his body, the careful way he maneuvered through the debris, and she felt her heart tighten. Suddenly, a massive fragment broke away from the cluster, spinning unpredictably. It hurtled toward Alex with frightening speed. He noticed it just in time, his instincts kicking in. With a powerful kick off the array panel, he pushed himself out of the fragment's path, narrowly avoiding collision. His tools floated away in microgravity, but he didn't have time to retrieve them immediately. Lyra gasped, gripping the edge of her console. "Alex, watch out!" Alex's tether held firm, and he managed to stabilize himself against the next array panel. He took a deep breath, his heart racing, and continued the repairs. Every second counted. The cluster wasn't slowing down, and more fragments were on the way. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the alarms and the hum of the colony's systems. Alex moved from one array to another, repairing, adjusting, reinforcing. Sweat dripped from beneath his helmet, though there was no gravity to pull it down. His focus never wavered. Back in the command center, Lyra watched in awe. She had seen heroes in stories, in simulations, but this was real. Alex was saving lives with nothing but skill, courage, and determination. She realized that humanity's strength was not just technology or advanced systems, it was people like him, capable of extraordinary things when it mattered most. Then, a warning flashed across her console. One of the larger fragments was on a collision course with her position in the observation deck. Panic surged through her for a moment, but she quickly called out over the comm. "Alex, fragment approaching platform 4. Deflect it now." Alex looked at the display. He could see the fragment spinning toward the platform, its size far beyond what the automated shields could handle alone. Without hesitation, he fired the manual adjustment thrusters, aligning the deflector arrays precisely to redirect the fragment. The massive rock smashed against the shields, causing a shockwave that rattled the colony. But the platform remained intact. Lyra exhaled, relief washing over her. She knew he had saved lives again, not just hers, but hundreds of colonists' lives. Alex floated back toward the airlock, exhausted but triumphant. His suit's sensors indicated that the arrays were fully operational, and the shields were holding strong. The rogue asteroid cluster had passed, leaving only minor damage to the outer hull. Inside the colony, Alex removed his helmet, his face flushed, his hair sticking to his forehead. He leaned against the wall for a moment, catching his breath. Lyra was waiting for him, her expression a mixture of admiration and relief. "You did it," she said simply. "You saved the colony." Alex gave a small nod. "Just doing my job." Lyra shook her head. "It's more than that. Most people would have panicked. Most would have waited for orders. But you acted. You trusted yourself and your skills. That's extraordinary, Alex." He looked at her, feeling a mix of pride and embarrassment. "I couldn't have done it without the team. The drones, the repair crew. Everyone played a part." Lyra smiled softly. "But you were the one out there, taking the risks, making the decisions. You reminded all of us what humans are capable of: courage, intelligence, and heart. That's what keeps this colony alive." Alex felt a warmth in his chest, a quiet satisfaction. He didn't seek praise, but he understood its value. It was a reminder that human resilience, resourcefulness, and care for others were what truly mattered. Even in a world filled with technology and dangers from space. Later that evening, Alex returned to his quarters. Mia was waiting for him, her small face lighting up when she saw him. "Daddy!" she exclaimed, running into his arms. He scooped her up gently. "Hey, kiddo. Did you miss me?" Mia giggled. "Yes. Did you save the colony again?" Alex laughed softly, spinning her around carefully. "Something like that. But the important thing is, everyone's safe. That's what matters." Mia hugged him tightly. "You're the best, Daddy. You're my hero." Alex held her close, feeling the weight of responsibility and the joy of connection. Saving the colony, protecting life, and returning to his daughter, that was the true reward. He realized that heroism didn't need medals or recognition. Sometimes, it was quiet, personal, and deeply human. Meanwhile, Lyra continued her work in the command center, reflecting on the events of the day. She remembered last night, and she remembered today, both times Alex had risked himself for others. She began to see the world differently, understanding that the people who lived and worked on New Elysium were the real heroes. In the vastness of space, among stars and silent dangers, humanity's greatest strength was not its technology or weapons, but its people, courageous, resourceful, and compassionate. And Alex Riker embodied all of that. As the twin suns set over the colony, casting long shadows across the metal platforms, Alex watched Mia drift to sleep, feeling a quiet sense of purpose. He had faced danger, saved lives, and returned home to the person who mattered most. Humanity's presence in space was still fragile, but with courage, skill, and heart, they could survive anything. And somewhere nearby, Lyra watched the displays, remembering everything. She knew now that heroes came in quiet, ordinary forms, and that the human spirit itself was capable of extraordinary things. The colony was quiet again, but the peace was deceptive. The rogue asteroid cluster had passed, but minor fragments still drifted in orbit around New Elysium, and the external arrays required constant monitoring. Alex Riker floated in the maintenance bay, checking the automated drone's status while preparing for another spacewalk. This time, the mission would take him farther from the colony than ever before. Commander Lyra Voss approached, her expression serious but tinged with concern. "Alex," she began, "we've detected a weak spot in the external shield arrays. If we don't repair it manually, some of the outer platforms could be exposed. The automated drones won't reach it." Alex studied the displays, noting the precise location of the damaged panels. "I see it. I'll need to go outside." Lyra hesitated, her usual authority clashing with worry. "It's dangerous. I don't want you risking yourself unnecessarily." Alex smiled faintly, though his eyes were focused. "I don't have a choice. The colony depends on it." She studied him for a long moment, seeing the calm determination in his eyes. "I'll go with you," she said finally. Alex blinked, surprised. "Commander, it's too risky. You could get hurt." I've been trained for this, Lyra replied firmly. And after last night, after today, I trust you. We need to do this together. Alex nodded, respecting her decision. All right. Then let's make it quick and precise. The airlock hissed open, and both Alex and Lyra floated into the void of space, tethered to the colony by thick cables. The sight of the twin suns reflecting off the asteroid fragments was beautiful but terrifying. Even small pieces of debris could tear through a suit or destroy vital equipment. Alex moved first, adjusting the external arrays with practiced precision. Lyra followed, handling her own set of tools, but keeping close to Alex. Their movements were coordinated, almost like a dance, each step measured, each adjustment critical. Suddenly, a fragment spun off from a distant asteroid, hurtling unpredictably toward them. Alex reacted instantly, pushing Lyra out of the way and redirecting his own trajectory. The fragment grazed the edge of a nearby array panel, sending a shock wave through the structure. Tools and small components floated freely in microgravity. Lyra's breath caught in her helmet. "That was close," she shouted over the comms. Alex responded calmly. "Stay focused. We've got more work to do." They continued, moving from panel to panel. The cluster's residual debris was unpredictable, forcing them to dodge fragments, adjust thrusters, and maintain balance. Every second was a test of skill and courage. At one point, a large fragment struck a shield support, sending it spinning. Lyra's tether strained under the force, and she struggled to maintain her position. Alex noticed immediately, moving to stabilize her. "Hold on," he shouted, grabbing her tether and pulling her toward a secure platform. "You're all right now. Just stay with me." Lyra nodded, her heart racing but her focus unwavering. "Thanks, Alex. I trust you." The compliment, spoken in the middle of life-threatening danger, struck Alex in an unexpected way. He didn't have time to dwell on it. Instead, he pushed forward, checking the array's energy readings, manually realigning the shields, and reinforcing the vulnerable support. Hours seemed to pass in mere minutes. Their suits' sensors beeped warnings as small impacts rattled their bodies, but they persisted. Each fragment they dodged, each panel they repaired, brought them closer to securing the colony. Then, a massive fragment broke away from the residual cluster, spinning toward Lyra. Alex reacted without hesitation, pushing off a nearby array panel and intercepting her path. His hands gripped her shoulders through the suit, steadying her as the fragment spun past harmlessly. Lyra's breath caught again. You saved me again." Alex's voice was calm but firm. "Focus. We're not done yet." Together, they finished the manual repairs, restoring the external shield arrays to full strength. The colony was safe, and the rogue fragments had either passed or been deflected successfully. Both Alex and Lyra floated for a moment, catching their breath, staring at the vast expanse of space around them. Lyra broke the silence. "I've seen courage before, Alex. But what you just did? It's something else. You're incredible." Alex shook his head, a faint smile on his face. "I'm just doing what needs to be done. That's all anyone can do out here." She floated closer, her tone softening. "No, it's more than that. You put yourself at risk for others. That's the kind of courage that defines humanity, Alex. Not machines, not weapons, but people. People like you." For a moment, Alex didn't respond. He looked at the stars, thinking about Mia, the colony, and the countless tiny decisions that had kept everyone safe. Then he said quietly, "I just want everyone to come home safely. That's all." Lyra nodded, understanding the depth of his words. She realized that heroism wasn't always flashy or celebrated. Sometimes, it was quiet, steady, and selfless, the kind that didn't ask for recognition, only the chance to protect life. After securing their tools and checking their tethers, they made their way back to the airlock. The docking was careful and precise, each step a testament to their skill and teamwork. Once inside the colony, they removed their helmets, faces flushed and hair slightly damp from the exertion. Lyra looked at Alex, her expression full of admiration. I've never seen anyone work like that. Calm, precise, brave. You're extraordinary. Alex shrugged, a small, modest gesture. I'm just a human doing what humans are capable of. That's all. She shook her head. No. You're more than that. You remind me why humanity can survive in space. We're not just machines or systems. We're courage, ingenuity, and heart. For a moment, they simply stood there, letting the words sink in. The mission had been dangerous, but they had succeeded. The colony was safe, and humanity's presence in this distant orbit had been preserved, thanks to their teamwork and courage. Later, Alex returned to his quarters, exhausted but satisfied. Mia was waiting for him, her small eyes lighting up when she saw him. "Daddy!" she exclaimed, running into his arms. He lifted her gently. "Hey, kiddo. Did you sleep well?" Mia nodded. "Yeah. Did you fix the shields? Did you save the colony again?" Alex laughed softly. "Something like that. But the important thing is, everyone is safe, and I get to come home to you." Mia hugged him tightly. "You're the best, Daddy. You're my hero." Alex held her close, feeling the weight of responsibility and the warmth of love. He realized that courage wasn't just about facing danger. It was about protecting the people who mattered most, every single day. Meanwhile, Lyra returned to the command center, her mind replaying the mission. She remembered every moment. Alex's calm under pressure, his bravery, his determination, and his quiet heroism. She realized that humans like him were rare. They were the true strength of the colony, and the reason humanity could thrive in the stars. As the twin suns set over the colony, casting long shadows across the platforms, Alex watched Mia drift off to sleep, feeling a quiet sense of fulfillment. He had faced danger, saved lives, and returned to the person who mattered most. Humanity's presence in space was still fragile. But with courage, intelligence, and heart, they could survive anything. And somewhere nearby, Lyra reflected on everything she had witnessed. She knew now that heroes didn't need medals or glory. Sometimes, they were ordinary humans with extraordinary courage, ingenuity, and compassion. Alex Riker was one of those humans, a living reminder of the best that humanity had to offer. The colony of New Elysium was alive with activity as the twin suns rose over the metallic platforms. Supply drones zipped through the air, and maintenance crews moved quickly, repairing minor damage left from the recent rogue asteroid cluster. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful. The crisis had passed, and life was slowly returning to normal. Alex Riker entered the command center, still carrying the quiet weight of the last mission. His suit was back in the maintenance bay, cleaned and stored, and for the first time in days, he felt the tension begin to ease. But the day ahead held its own challenges. Reports to review, minor repairs to complete, and coordination with the external array teams. "Alex," called Commander Lyra Voss, stepping toward him with a clipboard in hand. Her uniform was neat, but her usual commanding presence carried a softer tone. "I want to personally thank you again. The colony's survival yesterday and today was in large part because of you." Alex nodded, brushing off the compliment. "Just doing my job, Commander. The colony depends on all of us." Lyra shook her head, smiling. "No, you went beyond that. You faced danger directly. Coordinated repairs outside the safety of the colony, and saved lives. Not just mine, but the entire settlement's. That deserves recognition." Alex's gaze fell to the floor. Recognition was never his goal. He had acted because it was necessary. But he felt a warmth inside, a sense that his efforts had not gone unnoticed. Lyra continued, her voice firm but kind. "We've already prepared a commendation for you. It's not just about formalities. It's a message to everyone here that courage, intelligence, and quick thinking matter. Humanity thrives because of people like you." Alex finally looked up, meeting her eyes. "Thank you, Commander. I appreciate it." The commendation itself was modest, a small plaque with his name and a brief description of his actions. But for Alex, it was more than an award. It was proof that quiet, steady heroism mattered, that humanity's true strength was in courage and compassion, not weapons or advanced technology. Later, Alex returned to his quarters. Mia was awake, playing with Tinker, her small robot companion. Her face lit up when she saw him. "Daddy!" she exclaimed, running into his arms. He scooped her up gently, hugging her close. "Hey, kiddo. Did you sleep well?" Mia nodded, bouncing slightly in his arms. "Yeah. Did the colony survive? Did you save everyone?" Alex chuckled softly. "We did. The colony is safe, and everyone's coming home tonight. That's the most important part." Mia hugged him tightly. "You're the best, Daddy. You're my hero." Alex smiled, setting her down gently. "And you're mine, Mia. Never forget that." After tucking her into bed, he stepped back and looked out the window of their small quarters. The vastness of space stretched endlessly before him, glittering with stars. Humanity had reached this distant orbit, facing dangers unimaginable on Earth. But they survived. They thrived. And it was people like Alex, brave, resourceful, compassionate, who made that possible. In the command center, Lyra was reviewing the colony's status reports. She paused for a moment, thinking about Alex. She had always respected him as a skilled engineer and dedicated worker. But now she saw him differently. He was more than competent, he was a living example of the best of humanity. Calm under pressure, selfless in action, and unwavering in his commitment to protect life. Lyra smiled faintly, remembering the moments in space, the rogue fragment, the spinning debris, the tense minutes of manual repairs. Alex had acted instinctively, decisively, and without hesitation. She realized that heroism didn't always roar. Sometimes it worked quietly, steadily, and profoundly. The Colony Council held a small ceremony in the central hall later that day. Colonists gathered, some smiling, some nodding in respect, as Lyra presented the commendation to Alex. "Alex Riker," Lyra announced, her voice clear and commanding, "has shown extraordinary courage and skill. His actions during the recent meteor threat ensured the safety of New Elysium and all its inhabitants. We recognize his heroism, ingenuity, and unwavering dedication to the colony." Alex stepped forward, accepting the plaque. He felt a mixture of pride and humility. This wasn't why he acted, but it felt good to be acknowledged. "Thank you," he said simply, looking around at the crowd. "I didn't do this alone. The drones, the repair crews, the medics, and everyone here, we all played a part. Humanity survives in space because we work together and care for each other." The crowd nodded, some clapping quietly, others smiling in appreciation. Lyra stepped forward and placed a hand briefly on his shoulder. "You've reminded us all why humans are extraordinary. It's not just technology, not just strategy. It's courage, intelligence, and heart. People like you make the impossible possible." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Recognition was rare, but this acknowledgement meant more than any medal or title. It was a reminder that human spirit, when combined with skill and compassion, could overcome even the harshest dangers. After the ceremony, Alex returned to his quarters. Mia was waiting, holding Tinker tightly. "Daddy, you got the medal." Alex knelt down, taking her small hands in his. "Yes, kiddo. But it's not just for me. It's for everyone who helps, everyone who cares. And for you, because you remind me what I'm protecting every day." Mia smiled, hugging him tightly. "I'm proud of you, Daddy. You're my hero, and everyone should know it." Alex laughed softly, ruffling her hair. "Thanks, Mia. That means a lot." Later, as night fell over the colony, Alex and Mia sat together in their small quarters, watching the stars through the reinforced observation window. The twin suns had set, leaving the sky dark but filled with countless points of light. Alex pointed out constellations, telling Mia stories of explorers and pioneers who had reached for the stars long before humans had built colonies like this one. "You know, Daddy," Mia said quietly, "humans are amazing. Just like you." Alex smiled, pulling her close. "Yes, kiddo. We are. And it's people like us, brave, careful, and caring, who make the universe a little safer every day." Meanwhile, Lyra stood in the command center, looking out at the stars herself. She reflected on the past few days: the rogue meteor storm, the external repairs, the courage she had witnessed. She realized that humanity's strength wasn't in technology or shields alone. It was in people like Alex Riker. She smiled softly, feeling hope for the colony and the future. Humans were capable of extraordinary things, even in the cold vastness of space, and Alex, in his quiet, steadfast way, had proven that time and again. As Alex tucked Mia into bed, he thought about the days ahead. The colony would face more challenges, more dangers, and more unknowns. But for now, he had succeeded in protecting the people who mattered most. And he knew that humanity's true power lay not in weapons, not in machines, but in courage, ingenuity, and the simple, profound act of caring for one another. He looked out the window one last time before turning off the lights. The stars glimmered, distant yet familiar. The colony slept peacefully below. Alex Riker, single dad, engineer, and quiet hero, allowed himself a small smile. Humanity was thriving in the stars, and for people like him, hope and courage would always shine brighter than any distant galaxy.